What the hell is going on? J.P. Morgan, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, and a cast of characters after them. Why is this happening?
Well, number one, retail banking is tougher for regulatory reasons. We have a new regulatory agency, which makes it less advantageous and more punishing. But number two, you've got in consolidation, what you see very clearly is it's no longer let's buy that one and take out the cost because we overlap branches.
Right.
It's let's buy that one because they got a business line we don't have and or they got better funding than we have. So it's more strategic than it was before.
To me, there's the money word branches. Vanya, how many people have you counted in a branch bank in New York City when you've walked by, like,
I don't know,
three?
but it seems it's still always a line anyway.
Are there people in branch banks?
There's a branch bank out there. It's a city bank. What I want to understand is, when we talk about the difference between regional banks and the larger banks, what is in the future, given the regulatory environment where it is, what is the smallest size bank that you think can survive out 5-10 years? Is it $500 million in assets?
It's certainly over $1 billion.
It's over $1 billion.
And some would say it has to be heading towards $10 billion in time. Otherwise, it just doesn't have the scale to compete.
So that's a Canadian-based
for capital
system.
For one reason.
It's a Canadian-based
system. Well, no,
system.
it'll be a long time before we get there. They only have 7, and we still have 6,900.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, but still, that's the scale of going from 60.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to see another wave? We saw all the banks below $100 million in assets disappear. Are we looking at another wave of everything under $1 billion disappearing too?
Well, you're seeing that in the numbers now. The categories are 1 to 10 and 10 to 50. They're both growing. The high and the low, they're diminishing.
But
we're seeing new super regionals being built.
Okay, new super regionals. If HSBC and Deutsche Bank make the headlines, are there lots of little banks we never do headlines about that are going through the same cost rationalizations?
Yeah, and I think that's the bigger story. I think the larger banks have done what they can in terms of retail banking and branches, and they're doing what they should now. The value to the American banking system has always been small and medium-sized banks because they're the ones that can deliver credit, they're like capillaries into the local economy that drive the jobs. That's the whole point.
Will that be there in 10 years?
Don't beat up on them.
Will that be there in 10 years?
Absolutely, because that's really where the momentum is now. And the other thing you want to think about is our economy. It's shifting from consumption to production. And so it's going to be local jobs, local businesses that drive this.
We talk about small business all the time. This is what I find fascinating, is that small business loans come from small banks. Do you see, looking to Washington, that there is going to be some differentiation looking forward to what rules apply to larger banks and what rules apply to, under $1 billion?
You're seeing some of that now. You could argue that maybe we're getting some shift back in terms of the regulatory pendulum, but it's pretty minor. They've offered if you stay under $1 billion, you have certain advantages. I think they should just get out of there. The one big positive sign I've seen in regulation came from the UK, where the Prime Minister finally said he's declaring the war on banks over. I mean, this has gotten silly.
Where are the investing opportunities, Robert? The KPW banking index has been rising.
Look, the place where you've got the most momentum right now is in business banking, not consumer banking. So you want to look for regional banks that have strong commercial banking capabilities that are showing growth. That's where the action's going to be. And as rates start to go up, you're going to see a huge impact to the bottom line for most banks. You're not going to see it for those that competed too much on fixed-rate commercial real estate loans. But in general, this is heading towards a bit of a nirvana for the banking sector.